Hey up everyone, Magpie Gaming here, bringing you another Wild West Online video. Now, I did a video about this game a few weeks ago and I thought I'd do a follow-up video to that one, just detailing some more details about this game. First video I didn't really have a lot to go on, I only knew like the basics about the game. Been sat going through their questions and answer sessions that they've had and posted on their official forums. They've had 4 question and answer sessions. Doesn't say who by, just says that they're questions posed by the community, so they've decided to put out this Q&A to try and tie up some of the loose ends, answer some of the questions that people have been asking. So I thought I'd delve into it again and have a more detailed look at this game. Now, since the last video they've cleaned up their pre-order page. Last time there was some information missing from it, the pricing was a little bit off, so I've taken another look at it and they've added a few things to it. Namely, they've put system requirements in, they've also put dates of when you can expect the betas to start, things like that. So I'll go into the system requirements first. You need Windows 7, 8.1 or 10, and you need a 64-bit version. For your processor, you need an Intel Core i5 2400 or an AMD FX 6100 or better. You need 6GB of RAM. For your graphics card, you need a GTX 460 with 2GB of VRAM or equivalent. You need an AMD HD 7770 with 2GB of VRAM or better. You need DirectX 11 and 12GB of space. Now, I'm assuming that that is the minimum specs. They don't list the maximum specs or the recommended specs, so I'm a little bit disappointed with that. I'd like to see, what the recommended are. These are very low specs, which makes you think, Jesus, the graphics aren't going to be good on this, but, it's probably just the bottom end line that you need to play this game. Next up are the dates of the betas. Now, the closed alpha is going to be taking place at the end of July this year. The closed beta will start mid-fall this year, and the game will release in December of this year. It does say that all those dates are not final and are subject to change. And they've also cleaned up the pricing for this game. Before it was displaying in euros, and then when you went to actually order the game, it displayed in dollars. So it's now all in pounds. Your Townie will cost you $19.99, your Pioneer is $39.99, and your Collector is $59.99. It also says that they reduced prices as well from what they would have been. So your Townie would have been $39.99, your Pioneer would have been $79.99, and your Collector would have been $119.99. So at least they've cleaned that little bit up. Now I'm going to go into the Q&A. Now it's a very long Q&A, so I'm not going to go into every single detail of it. I'm going to pick out the ones I think are most important, the ones that are most interesting. So yeah, let's get into it. So the very first question that is posed on this is, will the game be in third person or first person view, or will it be switchable? And they go on to say that the game will have both third and first person cameras that you can switch on the fly, and you'll also have an adjustable FOV for the first person camera, which is a bonus. Somebody asks if you will be able to choose classes within this game, and they say that there are no classes within this game. And they go on to say that your character progression will be skill based. Somebody asks if the gear that you wear will have stats for protecting you and things like that, and they say that clothing is purely cosmetic. It won't have any overall advantage towards your stats. Will it be available for the Mac? They've said that at the moment it's only for Windows, but if there is enough interest for a Mac edition, then they will look at making one. Somebody asked if this game will be in historical context, and they've said no. It's based in the Wild West, but it won't have any kind of real life people within it or any kind of context towards real life events. It's purely just fictitious. It's just set in the Wild West. They're asked how deep the character creation goes, and they say that initially it's very low. You'll be able to choose the sex, the character's face, hairstyle and colour, and maybe the skin tone. For controlling your character, they say that there will be controller support and of course keyboard and mouse support, and all of your key bindings are fully remappable. They're asked if this game will support teaming up with other players to do missions and objectives, and they say yes, you will be able to form what's known as a posse, or a group, to take on challenges within the game. They're asked if there will be things like mining dungeons and raids to do. Said they've got an idea of things such as raids, but they want to keep them under wraps for now. They're asked if there's any advantage to forming a clan or a permanent posse within the game. Will there be any incentives for that? And they've said that joining a clan will have its own benefits. Players will get passive perks that will depend on how their clan performs. Said they're going to have more details on that later this summer. They're asked how big the actual map size is for the game, and they said that they expect it to be somewhat bigger than the GTA 5 map, and they're going to start to expand it as the game rolls out, and they'll see how it goes. They're asked what kind of freedom your character has, what you can climb, what you can go up, what you can get into, and they say you'll be able to jump, crouch and go prone, and they're going to look at more user controls later on. They're asked that with the game having a mature rating, will it have nudity, alcohol, violence, gore, NPCs with potty mouths. They go on to say that it is aimed at a mature audience. They don't want minors playing this game. There will be some forms of nudity within the game. They're asked about the targeting system for the game, and they've said that it is just like shooting in any other game. You aim and you shoot. They're asked about the day and night cycle. Will it be dynamic weather? They've said that the day and night cycle will not be in real time, and it'll probably change every 1 to 2 hours. Asked about when you die, what happens, where do you respawn? Apparently you'll be able to respawn in the closest town at the hotel, so it looks like the hotel's going to be the focal points in these games. Or you'll be able to respawn at the house, cabin, farm that you own or rent within the game. Those that posse up within the game or create a clan within the game, you will be able to have your own emblems and slogans so that you can identify your clan to others. They've asked about the clans. They've said that there is no limit to the amount of people that you can have in a clan. Trains will be used for fast travel between different towns, so you're not having to go miles and miles through the wilderness. You'll be able to use a train to fast travel. I would assume that you have to unlock fast travel within the game first, though, by getting to a certain skill level. For in-game voice chat, they're asked if that is going to be in the game, and they've said yes, voice chat is built into the game and available to all players. Also the ability to mute people that get on your nerves. They've asked if it will have support for 21:9 monitors, and they've said that at the moment, if there are enough requests for it, they will include it, but I think right now it's not included. They're asked about the healing mechanics in the game, and they said they don't want to make it overly complex, so it'd be something fairly easy to use. They don't go into detail about that though. That's what kind of weapons we can expect. This is one that everybody wants to know. You're going to have pistols, shotguns, repeater rifles. And they've said basically things from that era, and there's going to be some experimental weapons thrown in for good measure. They've been asked about the anti-cheat system, and they said that they're going to have a sophisticated custom-developed anti-cheat system, and they said that they believe that will curb most cheating, including aimbots, and yes, they will provide a report service for people to report players that they believe are cheating. We're asked about when you're downed within the game, what will happen, and you basically go out into a bleed out mode where you slowly bleed to death. Your friends are going to be able to revive you, and your enemies will be able to get hold of you and perform execution moves. They've asked where the servers will be hosted, and they have said that initially it will be North America and Europe, with more servers coming up in South America and Asia as they go along. The player limits for groups or posses is 8 players. You will have vaults where you can store your loot, so you're going to have basically, you're probably at the house that you own within the game, or your base of operations within the game, you'll have a vault where you can store all of your found items. They're asked about in-game currency, how will that work, and they've said that it'll basically be silver and gold dollar coins that you collect within the games. You'll use those to buy clothing and weapons. Somebody's asked if the game will include liquor, and will drinking it buff you so that you take reduced damage. So they say that yes, it will. Drinking though will have negative effects, blurred vision, and or worse, depending on how drunk you get. What a question to ask. They've been asked if the map will have hidden secrets like gold and vaults and things like that to find, and they've said yes, it will. And a lot of the PvE activities are centered around exploration and treasure hunting. Also being asked about bullet mechanics, will they be fairly realistic with bullet drop and things like that, and they've said yes, it will be. So they're going for something that's a lot more along the lines of Battlefield 1 rather than CSGO. Asked about the engine that the game uses, we've been into this one before. It's going to be using the Nightshade engine, which is specifically designed for open world games and renders using DirectX 11. Somebody's asked that with the mature rating, will you be able to partake in prostitution within the game? That's another odd one to ask, but they've said no, you won't be able to become a prostitute in the game. Will there be multiple character slots that you can have in the game? And they've said that they're debating this right now, so as of the moment you will only have the one character within game. Said, will NPCs being vulnerable to death, are you going to be able to go around and just kill everybody if you want to? Said what they're going to look at is that, say, vendors and shopkeepers, things like that, are probably going to be gun-free zones when you enter them, but they've said that a lot of that is up in the air at the moment. They've said, will you be able to operate businesses within the game so that you can generate your generate an income from it. They've said at the moment it's not a feature in the game, but it is something that they're actively looking at. Been asked about whether the game will be playable through Steam, and they've said that for the start it will be only playable through their client, but it will eventually be coming to Steam. Being asked if you can take part in hunting within the game, and they've said for the moment there isn't going to be any hunting mechanics within the game, but it's something that they're actively looking at. They're asked about the physics engine, and they've said that it will use PhysX for its physics engine. Asked about melee combat, said yes, there will be both bare hands and melee weapons. Will corpses be lootable? And they've said at the moment no, there will be no droppable items on death. Will there be a chat window? Yes, there will be a chat window. Somebody's asked if the PvP is good and fun and becomes huge, will there be possibilities of competitions or even esports? And I echo their answer on this one. They've said that that's just looking too far in the future right now, but it might be something that's considered a long way down the line. Somebody's asked if you can get married within the game. And again, another odd question, and they've said that they don't plan on having marriages or any structured relationships within the game. Can you shoot while you ride a horse? They've said this is something they have not yet developed, but it is on the list for future development. They've been asked about the ammo within the game. Will ammo be unlimited? And they've said no, it will be limited, and it will be need to be replenished from NPCs within the games, shops and things like that within the towns and little settlements, and there will be a limit of the amount of ammo that you can actually carry at any given time. Again, they're asked about the hunting and fishing within the game, and this is from the later part of the Q&A, so it's a bit more up to date. They've said that hunting and fishing are planned as part of the post-release expansion, but not for the initial release. But when it does release, it will be free. They've been asked about the alpha and when people will be able to play it. Now, they've listed that it will be playable around the end of July. They've also said that if you pre-order the game and you've pre-ordered the one for the alpha access, you are guaranteed access to the alpha. It's not going to be done in waves where you've got to wait for your turn. If you've pre-ordered, then you are in. And they've said that they're also looking to distribute around 5,000 free keys at each stage of the alpha as it rolls. And these will go out in a lottery style thing to people across Facebook and Twitter and partnered websites. They've asked if the game will have a minimap, and they've said yes, you will be able to use the minimap to find certain locations. It will also list people that are in your posse or your group, but it will not list enemy players or other players. Will the game support mods? And they've said that for security reasons the game will not be allowed to be modded. And that's pretty much it for all of the Q&A. I have just skated through the ones that I think are the main points. There's a lot more to it than I have said. There's a few little disappointing things, like people have asked if there'll be SAD games. They've asked if there will be horses and carriages that you'll be able to control, and they've said up to now that no on both of those points. So they've asked if there will be dueling where you can take somebody on in a gunfight, the quickest draw kind of thing, and they said they're not planning to implement that right now. So there's quite a few things from the game that are missing, but I do think a lot of those things are more detailed mechanics. They're obviously just trying to get the world going as it is now and implement the basics. So I would expect that when the alpha does roll around in July, it's going to be fairly basic. It's not going to have all of the bells and whistles added on that people would like to see. But I'm still on the fence about this game. I'm still a little bit put off by reports that I've heard about that Sergei Titov being involved, even though they've said he's not involved in the development or any, the only involvement he has is that he's licensed his engine to be used by the developers. So I'm tempted to get it. I'm tempted to order so that I can get in on the alpha and have a look at this. Now, one thing that I don't know about the alpha is, will it have an NDA on it? Will I be able to record a video for you guys so that I can show you? There's no information on that yet. That's possibly a question that I might pose on the forums actually and see what kind of answer I get. Hopefully when the alpha rolls out there won't be an NDA on it and we will be able to upload footage of it. No doubt somebody somewhere won't give a shit about the NDA and they will just upload footage of it anyway, but I would like to have permission first hand. But yeah, the premise of the game and what it wants to deliver to the player it sounds really good. As I've said before, Wild West themed games don't come along that often. Red Dead Redemption is the king of that genre, and it's the king of that genre because there's nothing else out there really that challenges it. But the Wild West theme is something that's been brought to the front recently. You've had TV programs like Westworld, and there's been some Western films come out. So it's a kind of genre that doesn't go away, but it's never really lent itself too well to games, so hopefully this will be a game that, along with Red Dead Redemption, can break that mould. But we're just going to have to wait and see. There's a lot of unanswered questions about this game right now. You know, they're ready to go to alpha testing in just over a month, so why can't we see some gameplay now? Why not drop a video and get more people interested? You know, if you've got a good product, you would want to show it off. And the fact that they've opened pre-ordering before even showing any gameplay it's not odd. It's done all the time by companies. Destiny 2, for instance, opened their pre-orders before they'd showed any kind of gameplay. But then that's Bungie. It's a well-established, well-known company. You know, you can put a fair amount of trust in them to deliver a product. This company, never heard of them. This is their first game as far as I know, so you put in, you know, you're giving a leap of faith if you're going to buy in this game. But I am interested, and right now I'm probably about 70-30 going to purchase this game so that I can get in on the alpha. But I'm still looking through the forums, still reading, still checking things out so that I can make a more informed decision. And hopefully listening to this video will allow you to make a more informed decision. I will have, of course, put a link to this Q&A at the bottom so that you can go through it yourself and have a look. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Is this a game that you're interested in? Is it one that you're going to wait for gameplay footage before you buy into it? Or is it one that you've jumped into already and you can't wait for it? You know, let me know what you think down below. And yeah, as always, thank you very much for watching and listening. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Press the little bell icon because I will be bringing more information on this game as I get it. So pressing the bell icon, you will be informed of my latest videos. And yeah, I shall catch you in the next one. Take care.